shoot your axial form factor, you're going to want to do a couple things. And one of the first is to get a target with a really good aiming reference. We like to use a target like this here at the shop with a water line vertically and horizontally to give us a really precise place to hold the reticle in the scope to make sure we're making it as accurate as possible. Next, you're going to want to make sure you have a very good range and shot angle when you do this as well. As always, with any ballistic calculator, the data that you get out is equal to the data that you put in. So you want to make sure you've got a really good aiming point at a distance that you can feel really comfortable shooting a nice tight group. You want it to be further than 300 or 400 yards, but not so far away that you can't reliably aim at the same point. So usually, 400, 500, 600 yards is a good reference, sometimes 700 or 800 in the right shooting condition. So you'll get this target out there, get a good range, a good shooting angle, and you'll run a trajectory profile that will tell you what to dial on your scope. You'll dial that correction, you'll make a good wind call, and you're going to shoot at least 5 shots as good and clean as you can at that range. And for us, this target was 500 yards away at a slight uphill angle of 5 degrees with our 2-mile-an-hour wind. It gave us a shooting solution of 2.35 mils, so that's 2.4 mils to put on the gun, and we shot this 5-shot group. Now, here's what we'll need to do to determine the axial form factor. First, we'll need to take a look at the target. Now, we'll measure each individual shot in relation to this watermark going horizontal across the target. Now, we'll measure high and low, add those together. These are plus numbers, those are minus numbers, and get the average. Now for our 5-shot group, the median of the group averaged 0.284 inches high. Now, our wind call was good, left and right, there's no correction needed. However, if you made a bad wind call and your group was shifted a tenth or two over, what you would need to do before proceeding is go on the fort off and adjust the wind angle or speed, whichever you were incorrect with, until your windage reflects what you saw on paper. Now, once you've done that, we're going to adjust the axial form factor by selecting the Edit Rifle Info in the upper right hand of the screen. Now here at the bottom, you'll see axial form factor, and it's going to pre-select 1.0. And the way we achieved the 1.0 is an average. So at Hornady, we developed these FORDOF files by shooting through multiple rifles, multiple twist rates, multiple propellants, different barrel manufacturers, different muzzle devices. All of those things that I mentioned has an impact on the overall drag of the bullet. So we get all of those and we make a good average drag profile, and that's the 1. Now, if one of those variables is different in your rifle than our rifle, then you're going to have a slight variation in drag, and that does need to be accounted for. The good news is that once you account for it one time and save it, then that is a blanket saving and it will work. It'll be very accurate at every range you shoot. So we'll simply select the axial form factor tab. And here you can see 1.0, and it told us to dial 2.35 mils, which should have been 42.27 inches of correction. Now, we were high, 0.284. So what we really need is a measurement closer to 42.0 to get that 0.284 back out of there. So if you look here, we've got a 0.98, which should have been a correction of 2.3 mils or 42.03 inches of correction. And that lines up very well. Another way that you could do this if you don't have paper is you can shoot a steel target, or you can be out at the range and just engaging steel at different ranges. And if you notice that you're consistently high or low, you can adjust the axial form factor by tenths of a mil. So if you're out shooting and at 500, you're almost a tenth high or 2/10 high, and at 600 it's the same thing, you can go in and just use the mils tab and see that I was dialing 2.2, but I really needed 2.3. So select the one that gives you the 2.3 average. In this case, we were a 0.98, so it's got 2% less drag than what the average did. Once you select that, you'll select the back arrow and save, and now that axial form factor is saved to this profile. So now that you've downloaded the app, created your favorite profile, and got your zero angle and your axial form factor, if done correctly, the 4DOF engine will provide you the most accurate shooting solutions that are available. You can now update your atmospheric data and take your rifle system anywhere in the world and get the most exact shooting solutions.